Absolutely.
In the book too, man, talking about Mexico, I find it
Hmm.
so interesting
Hmm.
because like we always mention Underground Railroad, likes
Right.
of Harriet Tubman, and I'm going up north, North
Hmm.
Star, but we was going south too.
Oh my goodness.
Please expound because I think that that's something that's so overlooked.
Absolutely. Well, brother, when we talk about the United States, when we talk about our ancestors reaching their freedom, oftentimes we think of the United States as it is today with 50 states.
Yeah.
But we got to remember in the 1850s, the early 1800s, 1700s, the West was a foreign country.
Mm.
What we call it now California and all that,
Yeah.
that's a different country. That's
Yep.
Spanish rule.
Wow.
We're going through French territory. We're
Mm-hmm.
going through X, Y, and Z.
Mm.
So anywhere was freedom. If you go
Wow.
too far to the west, that's freedom. If you go
Wow.
down south, that's freedom. So a lot of our brothers and sisters, especially in the Georgias, Georgia, South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
South, they ran south down to Florida because they knew Florida was controlled by the Seminoles,
Mm-hmm.
which is a Spanish corruption of the word Cimarron that
Mm-hmm.
simply means runaways.
Yeah.
So the whole state of Florida was being controlled by black people.
Mm.
John Horse and those brothers and sisters who
Yep.
actually won their freedom,
Mm-hmm.
which was one of the first times in history, in the United States history, that black people, enslaved people, went to war with the United States and actually won.
Yes, sir.
So we just did, shout out to Big Bro, shout out to Tariq
Yep.
Nasheed. We just did the American Maroon
Mm-hmm.
film that documents that, and I would suggest everybody go get that if
Please,
you ever get an
please.
opportunity,
Yeah.
especially if you're not, we understand in our era, not really a reading generation. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of our people like videos and
Yeah.
film. 3 hours worth of, just straight game from the master teachers.
Yeah.
I was honored to
Yes,
join
sir.
that,
Yes, sir.
and participate in that film. But, running south, also running west,
Mm.
places like Ohio.
Mm.
Ohio was known, the black people, the foundational black Americans in Ohio were known for resistance. They were known to fight back. You had something called the men of the Order of Oppression.
Mm.
Okay, and these brothers were operating guerrilla warfare
Mm-hmm.
in order to get brothers to the north into Canada, in
Mm.
order to give them a safe space
Mm.
once they ran away. One of the popular groups or families that comes out of there is excuse me, Lucy and I forgot his name,
Mm.
Lucy Thornton, but
Mm.
the Thornton family. The Thornton family is a family that was a runaway family from Kentucky. They were enslaved.
Mm.
They got to Ohio. They were arrested in Ohio. Excuse me, not Ohio, but Michigan.
Wow.
And the foundational black Americans there actually broke them out of jail.
Wow.
Broke them out of jail, beat up the police guards,
Wow.
and sent them up north to Canada. Once
Mm.
they got to Canada, that kind of changed Canada's laws up there.
Mm.
So they said, okay, you know what? We're not going to have enslavement up here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to send anybody back to the United States who's going to be enslaved.
Wow.
They later on went, the Thornton family later on went to start one of the first cab companies in
Mm.
Toronto,
Wow.
Canada. Yeah. So their first cab company comes from foundational black Americans
Come on.
who escaped enslavement and were secured their freedom by other FBAs who were, resistant. So
Yeah.
that's one of the many stories, people making it out west.
Yeah. I love that, man.
Absolutely.
American Maroon. That was gonna be my next question
Okay.
anyway. So, bro, it's flowing perfectly, right? John Horse, man. That's again somebody that's hardly mentioned. In school, maybe hear that name like one time, if
Hmm.
any, right? Who was John Horse and why is he so significant for our people?
Oh man, John Horse was one of the leaders of the Seminoles. It was said that his mother, he had a Native American mother or
Mm.
the Mongoloid. I try to stay away from the word Native American because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times our people get a certain image
That's right.
of what the Native American is.
That's
But he
right.
had a parent who was
Mm-hmm.
of the Mongoloid
Mm-hmm.
persuasion,
Yeah.
and he had a black parent.
Wow.
But he was one of the leaders of the Black Seminoles.
Mm-hmm.
Helped to lead the Seminoles to freedom, win their freedom in Florida.
Mm.
Great fighter, great
Wow.
leader.
Yeah.
Later on, led the Seminoles out to Oklahoma,
Mm.
where they were actually out there fighting some of the, again, Mongoloid natives who were trying to
Wow.
enslave them, the Creeks, things of that nature.
Wow.
So he would end up leading them to Mexico.
Mm.
They're known as the Muskogos, I believe it's
Mm-hmm.
called, in Mexico. And he actually worked out a deal with the Mexican government to defend the Mexican border.
Wow.
So this is John Horse. John Horse was a bad brother,
Mm-hmm.
a great fighter, a great leader,
Mm-hmm.
and should be known by many more of our people.
Yes, sir.